Now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams, and it's New Release Saturday, which means we're going to be discussing a brand new movie that just hit theaters. This one, albeit in a limited capacity, we're going to be discussing Clerks 3, starring Brian O'Halloran, Jeff Anderson, Trevor Furman, Marilyn Gigliotti, Rosario Dawson, Jason Mewes, Kevin Smith, Jennifer Schwalbach Smith, Harley Quinn Smith, Ben Affleck, Justin Long, Fred Armisen, Freddie Prinze Jr., Sarah Michelle Gellar, Melissa Benoist, Danny Trejo, John Williams, Scott Mosier, Ethan Suplee, Min Chen, Mike Zapsik, Walt Flanagan, and Brian Johnson. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. And as I said during the introduction, it's New Release Saturday, so we're taking a look at a brand new film that just hit theaters. This one was only playing for about a week, at least in my area, maybe a little longer in your area, kind of depends. It's also being featured on a convenience store tour being held and headlined by star and director Kevin Smith. We're discussing Clerks 3, the end of the trilogy featuring Dante and Randal from the Clerks saga in the View Askew universe. And our movie opens 15 years after Dante and Randal bought the Quick Stop convenience store, and the pair's lives have continued on pretty much the same as before, including hockey games on the roof, dealing with Jay and Silent Bob, who have taken over the former RST video store and turned it into a legal marijuana dispensary, although they still discreetly deal outside of the building as well, for nostalgia's sake. We also discover that Dante is still mourning the loss of both Becky and their unborn daughter, Grace, both of whom were killed by a drunk driver back in 2006. Dante privately sees Becky's spirit from time to time as she urges him to move on with his life. One day, while Elias and his friend Blockchain are trying to sell Randal on their NFT kites, which contain an image of the Buddy Christ, Randal suffers a near fatal heart attack. After the surgery, Randal's doctor urges Dante to help keep Randal's mood up while he recovers, and warns him that he is also at risk for the same kind of heart attack. While recovering afterwards, Randal realizes that he has wasted his life and he needs a new purpose. As a result, he declares that he will make a movie about his and Dante's lives working at the Quick Stop. Meanwhile, Elias renounces his Christianity and decides to become a Satanist after blaming his faith for Randal's heart attack. After holding some failed auditions, Randal decides that he will not only write and direct the film, but he will also star in it as himself alongside Dante in a supporting role. Rather than cast actors, they decide to cast their friends and actual customers to play themselves. This includes Jay and Silent Bob and Veronica, who agrees only after rekindling her romance with Dante. Dante ends up pulling double duty by taking on the producer role as well and convincing his ex fiancee, Emma, to loan the production $30,000, with Dante going as far as to put up his half of the Quick Stop as collateral. Silent Bob is made cinematographer and decides to shoot the movie in black and white, while Elias and Blockchain are hired as PAs. As the shoot for the tentatively titled film Inconvenience ensues, Dante begins to grow increasingly frustrated with Randal's micromanaging and perceived disrespect towards him in the script. After Randal attempts to recreate a donkey show that took place at movies, Dante panics and abandons filming due to the location bringing back memories of Becky. Later, a drunken Dante finally explodes at Randal for continually mentioning how he almost died, for never respecting him or acknowledging his support over the years, and for forcing him to relive the worst moments of his life. During the diatribe, Dante suddenly collapses and suffers a heart attack of his own. Rather than stand by his friend at the hospital as Dante had done for him, Randal tells Elias that he's going to leave in order to continue working on the movie. This causes Elias to snap, berating Randal for his selfish behavior. And as Elias reprimands Randal, he reveals Dante's deal with Emma. Now fueled by guilt, Randal finishes editing the movie and then sneaks back into the hospital with the assistance of Jay and Silent Bob. He begins to show Dante the finished film, which he has re-edited so that Dante is now the main character, declaring that the story was always about him. The scene then switches from a barely coherent Dante watching the film in his hospital room to Dante watching it in a private theater. Suddenly, the spirit of Becky joins him to watch along. Appreciative of Randal's gesture, Dante peacefully passes away. After Dante's funeral, Emma arrives at the quick stop with the intention of either taking over the store or collecting the $30,000 that she loaned to Dante. All of a sudden, Blockchain arrives and excitedly reveals that the NFT kites sold out immediately, making him and Elias millionaires overnight. Elias, who has recently joined Randal as co-owner of the store in Dante's stead, uses his share of the money to pay Emma back. Afterwards, Elias, Blockchain, Jay, and Silent Bob go outside to fly one of the NFT kites, while Randal stays behind and privately mourns Dante at the cash register, and is joined unknowingly by Dante's spirit. Meanwhile, Jay's daughter, Millie, inspects the expiration dates on some oat milk as the movie comes to its close. During the credits, Kevin Smith thanks the audience members for coming out to see the movie before reading some narration that was cut from the final scene. The dialogue reveals that Randal continued making movies until the age of 90, all while working at the Quick Stop. This one was sad, I'm not going to lie. I sat there in theaters crying my eyes out. When they started showing the completed film to Dante in the hospital and then cut to him in the theater watching the movie, I immediately got the symbolism. Essentially, he's watching his life pass before his eyes. And then Becky came and sat down next to him. And you realized that he wasn't going to make it. And having followed these characters pretty much since the beginning, I feel like I've grown up with Dante and Randal. I like to think I'm Randal, and there's definitely parts of me that are very Randal, but I am very much Dante in these stories. I'm the guy that's reliable, that they know they can call on at the last minute to come into work on his day off. Unless there is something life or death threatening important that I absolutely cannot miss, if I'm just sitting at home doing jack diddly shit, hey, so and so called out, we need you, I'm on my way. I may go in there with the I'm not even supposed to be here today mentality, but I still do my job. Yeah, I can be loud. I can be abrasive to customers. I can be goofy. I've been fired before for being abrasive to customers. Very much in the same vein as Randal. But I'm more so Dante than anything else. I knew going in that Randal was going to have a heart attack, that he was going to survive, and that the movie was going to be about Randal making movies after his heart attack. Essentially, it's a whole meta movie about what Kevin Smith experienced a few years ago. He had a heart attack, had to get his shit together. He lost a ton of weight, and he's better than ever, still making movies. And he's revisiting those characters that made him his money. You know, he had kind of left Jersey alone after Clerks 2. But ever since his heart attack, he's gone back. He did the Jay and Silent Bob reboot. He's done Clerks 3. He was talking about doing Mallrats 2 for a while, but then Stan Lee passed away. And that kind of got put on the back burner. But he's going back to this well that made him all the money and kind of checking in with these guys and like, hey, this is how I'm doing. You know, Kevin is very active on social media. Twitter, Facebook, IG. He puts himself out there, his stories out there. People know what's up with him. What's going on with these guys? Let's check in with them again. You know, 2006 was Clerks 2. It's literally been 16 years as far as release date goes, but 15 about, you know, filming wise. It's been a long time since we last saw Dante and Randal. And to be slapped in the face right out the gate with Becky's death, holy crap. And then you see while Dante's in the hospital because of Randal's heart attack, you kind of get to see what happened. You see Becky on a stretcher, still pregnant, being brought in. And you're like, whoa. So she either died through childbirth or we then find out she was killed by a drunk driver. You know, and just where the story goes from here. What happens now to Randal down the road? I mean, we know via the voiceover that he made movies till he was 90. Will we ever see Randal again in the View Askew universe? More than likely, we won't, because it's taken some serious convincing on the behalf of Kevin Smith to get Jeff Anderson to come back to this role, not just for this movie, but in Clerks 2 as well. He wanted to be done with Randal. But both times he ended up being convinced to come back. I think this is the final time as far as seeing Randal Graves. The only characters I could see coming back, not named Jane Silent Bob, at any point in the story are Elias and Blockchain. Because Blockchain is basically Elias's Silent Bob. And now that he's a co-owner of the Quick Stop, anytime they come to the Quick Stop, they could just find Elias working there instead of Randal. Problem solved. You keep these guys going, but you don't have to worry about Jeff Anderson coming back. And the angle can be that with their second NFT, they bought Randal out. They already paid off Dante's part, so Elias owns half of the Quick Stop now. With their next successful NFT, they buy Randal out of his half of the Quick Stop, and they now own both stores. Done. That's how you get rid of Randal without having to have him come back. Those of you that have seen the Clerks saga, and yes, this I am going to link up. You can see my review of Clerks right here. I took a look at that last year when I was doing my birthday celebration. And then, of course, as I got through the Viewisk universe, because I did everything last year, I did Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, Clerks 2, which you can see up here as well. And then I did the Jay and Silent Bob reboot, which was the most recent film to date as of last year when I covered these all. But you can see my reviews for Clerks and Clerks 2. I posted them up there for you to be able to see them if you haven't already. Go back, watch them, watch this one. If you haven't been able to see Clerks 3 and Kevin Smith comes to your town and you are a fan of the Jay and Silent Bob series and the Clerks saga, I highly recommend you pony up the extra money to go see it with Kevin there and hear him talk about it, and even maybe pay the extra money so you can meet him afterwards. I've met Kevin before. That's why I didn't worry so much about the convenience store tour, but I did make sure I went and saw it in my local multiplex because I don't know when this film is going to hit DVD, Blu-ray, or streaming, and I had to see it as soon as possible. But what do you guys think of Clerks 3? Let me know. When it comes to my rating of it, I don't do this that often, but I give it a 5-star. It was so well told. It was so well executed. It was so well thought out. The jokes regarding the making of the movie, which are actually really jokes about making the original Clerks, hilarious if you know the history of Kevin and how he got the funding and how he made Clerks in the first place and why Clerks was originally in black and white. All those jokes are made in this movie as Randal is making his movie. So 5 out of 5 stars. I love it. I can't wait to purchase it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you've seen it. Right here if you're watching the premiere, down here if you're watching on demand. Let's discuss the Clerks trilogy and the Clerks saga because these movies mean a lot to me. And make sure you guys tune in later on today, right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, as well as on the Jeff Meacham Network and across the Jeff Meacham Network multiverse of media as we present once again Open Mic Night. Myself, Jeff Meacham, Noah Foster, James Hebert, all coming together like the Megazord to discuss the latest topics regarding professional wrestling. Damn it! But I digress. Buy the t-shirt. On the Casa channel, on the Jeff Meacham Network, on the Simple Man Studios. Check it out. And then tomorrow, right back here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, it'll be time to once again step into the War Zone. That's right, another edition of the Weekly Acquisition Report where I show off the latest additions to my ever-growing movie library. You're not going to miss out on that right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, right here on Open Mic Night, right here on the War Zone, across the Jeff Meacham Network multiverse of media. So much content going up in these next couple of days. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure that notification bell is turned on so you don't miss any of that content that goes live here on a regular basis. Make sure you share this video with your family, friends, loved ones, co-workers, movie fanatics in your life, cinephiles, anybody who loves Jay and Silent Bob, Kevin Smith, the Clerks saga, any of that type of stuff. Share this video with them. It's going to be the way that we help boost up my visibility in YouTube's algorithms so I can eventually get monetized, make some money on this by the end of the year. Thank you once again To everyone who tuned in and joined me here today, I greatly appreciate it more than you will ever know. And until next time, just remember, I wasn't even supposed to be here today.